A few years back, I rented an apartment from a friend of mine. He had recently purchased it and had it completely renovated. He put it up for sale but couldn't find a buyer, so I offered to rent it in the meantime. After moving in, I realized there was something wrong with the lady next door. She appeared to be around 45 years old but looked much older. She would stay up all night listening to Christian radio shows and talking loudly to someone. It reached a point where I couldn't sleep, so I went over to her place and asked her to keep it down. When she opened the door, I caught a quick glimpse of her interior. Her walls were covered in crosses painted in different colors, and there were words like Jesus and angels scribbled everywhere. The windows were painted black, blocking out all light. The place was damp, with yellow-stained, 50-year-old carpets and an infestation of cockroaches. Though I could smell the stench of dog waste, there was no dog present. I requested her to please keep the noise down, but she simply looked at me and shut the door. Then, she turned up the radio even louder. The following night, while my girlfriend was staying over, I woke up in the middle of the night and noticed a shadowy figure standing beside the bed, watching us sleep. Initially, I thought it was a hallucination that often occurred when I was drowsy in the darkness. However, the shadow began to speak. It was my neighbor, holding something in her hand. She had broken into my apartment during the night, and who knows how long she had been standing there. "You should lock your doors at night," she said before walking out. The next morning, I heard strange noises below my bedroom window. It was my neighbor, speaking in tongues and clutching a plastic bag that contained her decomposing, dead dog. The scorching heat outside intensified the smell of death emanating from the bag. At this point, I was terrified. It was evident that she was severely mentally unstable. I went upstairs and knocked on another neighbor's door, desperate to understand what was happening. The man was just as frightened as I was. Apparently, she had broken into his apartment one evening while he was watching TV with his children. He had gotten up to grab a snack, only to discover her lurking behind the couch, staring at him and holding a power drill. Now, I realized what she had been holding in her hand during her visit to my apartment. By this stage, I was absolutely terrified. I immediately called the police, and they were already familiar with her. Apparently, she was a violent schizophrenic who had stopped taking her medication. However, they couldn't force her to take her medication or enter her apartment without her permission because she owned it. The only option was to apprehend her when she ventured outside. I stayed up for the next 2 days, waiting for her to run out of cigarettes. When I heard her leave at 2 a.m. to go to the nearby 7-Eleven, I called the police. They arrived within 2 minutes, with 3 cars and a special van. They restrained her and whisked her away to an institution. In less than a minute, it was as if she had never been there. I never saw her again, but I still have nightmares about her staring at me while I sleep.